I want? What do I feel like? Please be good to me this month. Is that another standard? Okay, let me see what options we have. Get rid of 1 or 2 standards. This has been like way too nice to me. Hi guys, it's Rachel and welcome back to my March TBR video. I feel like I haven't filmed a video in ages because I've been in a little bit of a creative slump, but I love filming my TBR videos, so we're back with the next month's TBR and I'm really excited to give myself a fresh TBR to play with because February's TBR game, if you watched it, it was very chaotic. I got so many spins agains, I got so many like double upping on prompts, and it just was like a bit too much. I had 8 books on my TBR and I haven't managed to read all of them, and I'm just ready for a fresh start. So I don't think there are any really housekeeping rules or things I need to go over today. I just kind of am going to pull the prompts and see what we have in store for me. I start with, I don't know if it's 5 or 6. I feel like it might be 5. Let's start with 5 pulls, and if we get any adder spins, we'll add extra spins. Hopefully not too many compared to last month, fingers crossed. So without further ado, let's jump in to the first spin of March. Can't believe we're into the 3rd month of the year already. I actually accidentally deleted the original spinner, so I had to recreate it, and I believe all the same prompts are on there, but they may just be in a different order or have different colours coordinated to them. Standard, because I know that purple used to be add a spin and now purple adjusts the safest prompts of just standard pulls. So without further ado, let's pull the first prompt of the month. I also want to try and get a lot of physical books onto my TBR this month because one of my goals for 2025 is to get rid of every single book that's currently on my physical TBR trolley out of my life, whether I've read them, unhauled them, DNF'd them, I don't care. I just don't want any books pre-2025 on my physical TBR anymore. So I'm hoping that a lot of these books I can pick today can be off my physical TBR trolley, which is just off camera down below. And the first prompt is, what does that say? Pick 2 books, flip a coin on which one you'll read. Okay, so quite a good choice actually. Ooh, what do I want? What do I feel like? This book is really kind of catching my attention at the minute, which is, this book is on my 2025 TBR. This is like a literary fiction, I believe. It's set in 1994 and it follows a main character called April, who's living in a motorless motorhome that her father won in a poker game. Failing out of school, picking up shifts at a diner, she's left fending for herself in a town where she's never really felt like home. One night April borrows her neighbour's car to perform at an open mic night and realises life could be much bigger than where she came from. And it's about self-discovery, I'm assuming, from there. The text is tiny, but I'm really intrigued. This book has been on my radar for years now, and I finally managed to get a physical copy of it, so I really want to prioritise it and read it ASAP. So I think I'm going to go for this one as the first one. And to complete another series, I think let's go for Next to You by Hannah Young, which will be the last Hannah Young that I have to read because I've officially read all of them. Out on a Limb, Next of Kin, Out of the Woods, I've read them all, and this is the last book I'll read. This also completes the Next of Kin duology, so I would also be completing a series. So let's flip between these 2. We'll go heads for this one because it's got people with heads on, and we'll go tails for this one. So let me get I'll ask Siri. Hey Siri, flip a coin. Don't know if you can see that, but it says it's heads. So the first book on my March TBR is Next to You by Hannah Young, which I'm really excited to read. I'm not actually sure what this one is about, but I believe it follows another character in the same world as obviously Next of Kin. And you know what? I don't really feel like I need to read. The back of it, it says Lane is in the middle of an identity crisis. Her friends are all partnered up, her career is heading nowhere, your typical kind of romance, and she's just not happy. So after a night out celebrating her birthday, she makes one hell of an impulse purchase, a giant 48 passenger yellow school bus that she intends to make her home. Okay, with little to no renovation experience but money from a large inheritance, Lane enlists the help of her friend Matt, a mechanic by trade, handyman by practice, and hottie by nature. I don't need to know any more than that. While their mutual attraction is undeniable, Matt's a total family guy with "settle down with me" tattooed across his forehead, whereas Lane is entirely commitment averse. Matt and Lane have silently agreed that friendship is the only thing that can ever exist between them, so when Matt offers to help her with the bus and in the bedroom, Lane's sure it can never work. Sounds really, really good. So this is the first book on my March TBR. Spin number 2. Please be good to me this month. Is that another standard? Another standard, okay. I'm not complaining. After the chaos of February, I just need an easy month. I'm also kind of in the mood to just like mood read what I want as well. So I like making TBRs and I love playing my TBR game, but sometimes it's just nice to not have any restrictions or have a small TBR where mood reading can fit around the books that you've also picked. So the next prompt is, oh, it's a short one. What does it say? I think it's upside down. A book with a one-word title. Okay, let me see what options we have. Not many. Okay, the only 2 books on my physical TBR is Love Struck by Laura Jane Williams and Daydream by Hannah Grace. I didn't think Love Struck was a one-word title, but then I go to the spine and it is one word, so I'm going to count it. Both romances, once again. Obviously, this is the 3rd book in Maple Hills trilogy by Hannah Grace. So once again, like next to you, it would be completing a series for me, / catching up with one, because I'm not sure if this is the last book or not. And then Love Struck is a TBR vet. It's been on my TBR for a good couple of years now, and it's definitely a book that I want to get off my TBR sooner rather than later. I forgot it was signed. This is, everyone knows what this one's about, so I'm not going to explain it, but this one basically is a dual kind of like timeline perspective book where our main character is in a little bit of a crossroads, and she's ready for Mr. Right and she's ready for it now. So she starts to do a manifestation ceremony, and when she receives a text from her ex, she doesn't know which direction to go in. Is that a sign that she should get back with her ex and he may be Mr. Right? Or does she ignore the text and find Mr. Right in a different direction? So you follow both sides of the story. One side you follow with her replying to her ex and seeing where that leads, and then one where she doesn't reply to her ex, ignores him and the text, and see where that goes. So it sounds really interesting. There's a concept of a book that I've never kind of read from before, the fact that you get both kind of plots within the book. I'm really intrigued. It's also an audiobook on Everand, so it could be a good way to consume it, and I do need to get this book off my TBR. So I think I'm going to go with Love Struck. Yeah, I'm going to go with Love Struck and finally get this book off my TBR. The only reason I'm hesitant about this book is that Laura Jane Williams used to be one of my favourite romance authors. I had her debut book, One Stop, gave 5 stars. Her next one, The Love Square, one of my favourites by her, 5 stars. And then I read The Lucky Escape, was still good, but I gave it a 4. And then I read One Night with You and it got a 3. And then this one came out and I was just like, I'm so scared that every book of hers is getting weaker and weaker. So I've started to put off her books. So I just need to put my faith back in this author. I used to love her writing. Why shouldn't I love it now? So this book is going on my TBR for the 2nd book of March. Let's go for spin number 3. I'm loving reading on my Kindle at the minute, but that is not how I'm going to get my physical TBR down to 0. So we're still on the hunt to read another standard. Did there used to be 4 standards? I don't think there used to be 4 standard prompts. I'm not complaining though, because we need an easy month, but I might adjust the spinner wheel to maybe do 2 or 3 standards. Maybe we'll do that in the next round, just to spice things up a little bit, because I'm happy that we've had 3 standards. Let's go for this prompt. Ooh. What does that say? It says randomize something. It says randomize. Does it say randomize? Randomize your Kindle TBR. Okay, just as I was saying, I love reading on my Kindle. Let's grab my Kindle. Actually, we don't need my Kindle. But I'll put it to the side anyway. That's my Kindle, if you weren't aware. But on Goodreads, I have all of my Kindle books on a Kindle TBR shelf. So we'll get that up. We'll get a number random generator up as well, and that'll be how we decide. So I currently have 25 books unread on my Kindle, whether they are Kindle Unlimited or books I've brought via the Amazon store as an ebook. So 25. Generate. Number 6. I'm gonna do date added, so we're going oldest to newest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. People on platform 5. By Claire Pooley. A book that I wasn't interested in reading anytime soon, but that's what's good about sometimes randomizing your TBR. You can kind of get books that you kind of forgot that you had or weren't really on the top of your radar. People we The People on Platform 5 I wasn't originally interested in because I think it came out last year, and then I saw Lily from Literary Lily read it and she really enjoyed it, and I think it is basically like a character study, and I'm all for books that basically follow characters without any plot. Every day Iona is larger-than-life magazine advice columnist, travels the 10 stops from Hampton Court to Waterloo Station by train, accompanied by her dog Lulu. Every day she sees the same people, whom she knows only by nickname. Impossibly pretty, bookworm, and terribly loner teenager. Of course they never speak. Seasoned commuters never do. Then one morning, the man she calls smart but sexiest man-spreader chokes on a grape right in front of her. He'd have died were it not for the timely invention of Sanjay, a nurse who gives him the Heimlicher move. A single event starts a chain reaction, and an eclectic group of people with almost nothing in common except their commute discover there's a chance encounter can blossom into so much more. It turns out that talking to strangers can teach you about the world around you and even more about yourself. And I'm very much like, if I'm on the train and I'm commuting, I am head down, getting to my destination. So this might be quite interesting, eye-opening story about what can actually happen if you look up once in a while. So potentially a good book. I'm intrigued. It's got an average of 4.18 on Goodreads with 66,000 reviews. So it has to be good, surely. So that is book number 3 on my TBR for March. I'm just gonna go edit my TBR spinner and get rid of 1 or 2 standards. Let's be brave. Let's get rid of 2 standards. Instead of having 4 kind of sections of the pie being standard, we now only have 2. So let's spin for number 4. It surely can't be a standard. Like, the probability of that now is quite small. What's it gonna be? Okay, I'm not complaining. Hey, I made it harder and it's still gracing me with a standard. There are so many good prompts in my new TBR jar as well. It's actually really nice being able to like use some. So let's go for this one, which is, oh, wow. That is a small prompt. What does it say? I think that's TBR vet. A TBR vet, of which we have a lot of. I'm just going to go to Goodreads and see what some of my oldest books on my physical TBR are, which could be risky. So physical TBR. One of the oldest books is either A Spark of Light by Jodie Picoult, which I have tried to read and wasn't really vibing with. But the other one that I feel like I could finally actually get around to is Friends and Strangers by J. Courtney Sullivan, which was on my priority TBR for 2024 and I didn't get around to it. And this is a book gifted to me by Chloe, so I do feel like I should get around to it sooner rather than later. This is a very much slice of life book once again, my favourite type. It's a contemporary and it follows our main character Elizabeth, who is an accomplished journalist and a mother, but she's struggling to adjust to that new life of motherhood. So she hires a babysitter called Sam, who works at the local women's college, and Sam, the babysitter, and Elizabeth's husband end up having some sort of affair, and it's just about that basically. And once again, the text is tiny, but hopefully this will be a good one to finally get off my physical TBR, and definitely a TBR vex. I think Chloe got it for me not last year but the year before, so definitely about time I get around to it. And because the TBR gods have been really nice to me this month, I think I might go for 6 spins rather than 5. I don't know if I'm going to regret that, but we're on to spin number 5, which isn't going to be our last spin. Just because it's been such an easy ride, it can't get that more chaotic with only 2 spins to go, can it? This is where I jinx myself. It's a different colour. Free pass. Okay, free pass basically means don't pick a book. So we are on to spin number 6 because the TBR gods have been super nice to me. So spin number 6 and our potential final one, unless we get add a spin, is going to be, oh, what's green? Free pick! This has been like way too nice to me, way too nice to me. And I think because I was toying between these 2 right at the beginning, I think I'm going to go for People We Keep by Alison Larkin, just because it's a book that I really want to get around to sooner rather than later, and I've already explained to you what it's about, and I do really want to try and get around to it. So that is the last book on my March TBR, and it's such a short TBR, it didn't go chaotic, it's just been nice and easy. And you know what, I feel like hopefully that's a sign for a good month ahead. So to quickly round up, not that we feel like I need it because it wasn't chaotic today, the first prompt we got was to pick 2 books and then do heads or tails to which one was going to get chosen, and Next to You by Hannah Boehm Young got chosen, so that was the first one. And then we got a book with a 1-word title, so we're going with Love Struck by Laura Jane Williams. And then we got a prompt to randomise my Kindle TBR, so we've got People on Platform 5 by Claire Pooley, and then we got a TBR Vet by J. Courtney Sullivan, and then we got a free pass, so book number 5 does not exist, and then the last one was a free pick, so I've put People We Keep by Alison Larkin on my TBR, and that's my TBR for March. That was so quick, it was so smooth, it was so kind to me, just what I needed after the chaos of February and the kind of weird reading month I had in February as well, which you'll find out all about in my next video of my monthly reset, where I wrap up all the books that I read and reset for the month ahead. It wasn't a great reading month, but it was all good. I'm excited for the month ahead, and some of these should be 5-star predictions, so fingers crossed for me. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up and subscribe down below to see future content from me. I do, I think, weekly reading vlogs, monthly TBRs, monthly wrap-ups, any other book content you can think of. I usually have my channel, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.